Before we start, I would like to ask your help to do two things. First, tell a friend or two who you think might like the show. And second, please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The more reviews the show gets, the more likely it will even appear in search results. Thank you, and now on to the show.
They make the trek out to Burning Man for a week and a day. After a lot of work, oh, there's a lot of play. Party, 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 drama, 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 bitch, bitch, bitch. Year after year, they come back to scratch that itch. They all say their lives have been changed. After many years, lives have been rearranged. That change is what this show is all about. You'll see the impact of Burning Man up and out. So sit back, relax, and cancel all your plans. These are the stories about the shadow of the man.
Hello, and welcome to the Shadow of the Man Show. I'm your host, Andy. Not again, that Andy. Today, our guest is Naomi Most. Welcome, Naomi.
Hi, thank you.
And there's another guest there, too. Who's that?
Yeah, my kitten is making an appearance.
Well, my cat, one of the three, Bella, is usually at the door, just meowing, meowing, meowing. She's like, I'm the co-host, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I've left her out there.
Yep. This one is just the one who wants to dip her paw into the aquarium that's sitting by my side.
Oh.
She has a very fine looking fountain. She can drink from the fountain. Expensive, pet fountain or whatever. No, she wants the fish water. That's nothing finer than the fish water, according to Nipa.
So how did you first get involved with the whole Burning Man world? When did you first go out to the playa?
Okay. So in my middle age, my my sense of time is getting terrible. So I moved out to San Francisco in 2005, and then I believe it was the next year I got summoned out to the playa from a very unlikely source. It was my mother's friend and my first employer, actually, a guy named Dick Milberg, and he was at the human car wash camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't really know anything about Burning Man at the time. I was living I first lived in the Mission, and then I was living in a warehouse in Oakland called the Vulcan. And he told my mom it might be good for me.
What way? Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing, nothing sussy or untoward about it. And I just went, all right, I like new things. And I drove myself out there in my Jetta Wolfsburg stick shift and totally ruined that car. I ended up having to drive out of there limping into Reno because like something had gone wrong in the car, and had this whole adventure for a week being stuck in Reno. But that's another story.
So they suggested you go to Burning Man and you just went off by yourself? Or?
That's me.
I mean, they didn't try to like set you up. You're like, yeah, you should really go to Burning Man, and here's some friends, I'll hook you up with, or like nothing like that.
I don't know. I mean, especially in my 20s, which is what I was. I was kind of adrift, kind of a lone wolf. I'm much more community oriented, much more connected at this point. But I think part of the way that I grew up was not tremendously community connected in the first place, and I had sort of a, I think, emotionally neglected / stunted kind of way of moving through the world. And so I was like, okay, well, new things are stimulating, right? And I had no fear. I still don't. I don't experience any sort of I mean, I think I experience like sort of rational sort of fear, but it's in a very like background. Like the only thing I think I wouldn't do is like free climb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I think of like the short list, like I'm not deliberately going to go to the Congo, like a writer I know who went to the Congo in the 80s when he was 19 , 'cause he was 19 because he was like me, but like double. I'm not that kind of fearless, but
Yeah.
generally I just kind of go and do things.
Or like, what's that? I forget the name of it. It's an island off of Sri Lanka where the people who are like uncontacted tribe, and so like if there was like some missionary guy that went there and like shot full of arrows,
Oh, Jesus.
because I mean they
Uh,
explicitly tell you it's like don't go there, they will kill you, you know. And he's like, I'm gonna go spread the good word, you know, like it's like
yeah, I have to go.
so you're not
Someone's got to save them.
that adventurous. I gotta say that's pretty adventurous. Just someone's like, oh, you should go to Burning Man. You're just gonna get in a car and go by yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little strange in that way. And
Hmm.
also like again, my mom's friend and my first employer. It's just it doesn't make any sense. So I camped in that camp and I spent 1 year just kind of not one
So
year, but like my first year at Burning Man,
where'd you
just kind
camp?
of I'm sorry?
Where'd you camp your first year?
The why am I blanking on the name of it? The place that has human
Oh, they
car
said the
wash.
human car wash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain's mush.
No, that's okay. What exactly was the human car wash again? I'm trying to remember. Like,
Come to me like tomorrow.
didn't they had like a whole kind of a setup where it's like you kind of walk through it, and then each person kind of is like holding like a
Yeah,
sponge
a
or
piece of it's
something.
like yeah, it's an assembly line like sponge bath. It feels very like oh gosh, there's an aesthetic to things at Burning Man, right?
Hmm.
There's an aesthetic that makes you feel like this is old Burning Man, middle Burning Man, or mid to late Burning Man. Do you know what I mean? In the like
Yeah.
areas,
Yeah.
this feels very old to middle Burning Man in a way.
Yeah.
You
This
know,
is
like
2006.
we're not
Yeah.
talking like rifles, like shooting things, Burning Man, but we are talking like we want to get people clean, but we want to do it in the like weirdest way possible. Where like old naked men are like, get to like, can I be crude?
Yeah, they can be as crude as you want. Yeah,
Like
this is explicit.
just like, old naked men get to like sponge bathe like, cute little sparkle ponies and like basically
Hmm.
scrub their titties around.
It's
Yeah.
called participation, sweetie.
Yeah, I mean everyone's super nice about it. But anyway, that was my first camp.
Uh,
And I was 26 or 27. I can't
I
remember.
wonder, like, if the human car wash, like, what was the last year would have been on the playa?
Is that not there anymore?
I mean,
I'm
I
a
don't
little out of
know.
contact with that.
Yeah, was that the only time you camped with them?
Hang on, I have to think back. What did I do my next year? Um, God, you told me to think about this, and I'm like, and it's still like it feels very distant. I
Oh, it
should have
was like almost
started,
20 years ago.
but also I didn't like write in a journal then and things like that. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
I didn't either.
Those things are so important. They're so important. I now know in retrospect those things are so important. I keep a journal
Yeah.
now.
Usually, like for me, like how I kind of remember things is like, especially when it's like Burning Man, like what year was that? You know, like I
Yeah,
actually kind of go back and look through like my photos on my phone. You know, I was like, oh,
that's a way of journaling. I actually took a
yeah,
screenshot of our conversation, like you and me talking right now,
okay,
and because I have like, especially since the pandemic and like everything that happened was through a freaking Zoom call. So I have
mm,
this like folder full of images that I can look through and go, oh yeah, that was that conversation with some people I know in Vermont or whatever, you know. I have
mm.
that as like a visual diary. So I still do
Yeah.
that.
So did you only camp with the human car wash that one time?
Yeah. Because like the next, I guess the next year and the next year after that, so 2007 and 8, I started meeting the Thunderdome kids.
Oh, really?
I met some of the Thunderdome people
Did you
via
camp with them?
OkCupid. No, I did not.
No.
I sort of just camped solo.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't want or seem to care for the trappings of big camp or whatever. So I just sort of squatted, let's say. I don't know. What do they call it? Solo camping? Just free
Uh,
camping?
yeah, open camping. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
the
nothing you're
next year.
supposed to do, really. I mean, like everybody has their own kind of. path and journey.
I know, but it feels like so much now in this kind of like late to Burning Man era, and
Yeah.
when Burning Man stops, who knows? But it feels like no one would even consider going to Burning Man for the first time without joining up with the camp. Like
Well,
if I hear advice and whatnot.
yeah, especially if you like you see like on social media and stuff nowadays. It's just like it's all these people, especially in certain times of year, like in like July, June, July, people they're just posting these like pictures, like, "Hey, look at me!" It's like I'm looking for a camp and I'm nice. Like, "Hey there, sparkly people." It starts the same way, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it's almost like a dating app kind of thing.
it's all good, you know? I'm
Yeah,
like,
but I don't know.
it's probably if I had it to do over again, I probably would have tried to do that more, but I was just so
That was a different
I
era. Yeah.
know. The second year I came with a person from the Vulcan and we were gonna like my housemate, my
Uh-huh.
flatmate, from the Vulcan. I don't know if you know about the Vulcan. It's this
What's the
huge
ball?
huge art warehouse in Oakland that is like quasi legal.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's always in this. It's been continuously habitated for like, I don't know, 40 or 50 or 60 years or something like that, but it's always under threat. It's one of those kind of places.
Oh yeah.
So I was sharing the place with three other people. It's like really big warehouse space. And I was able to set up drums and like kombucha making, vessels. And I was really into raw food at the time. So I was like dehydrating my own food to bring to the playa and give away as gifts.
Wow.
But that was my 2007.
That's face. I'm just making notes because no, I record like months in advance, and so then like when I put out the episode
Oh, yeah.
notes, it's sometimes like many months later. I'm just like, what do we talk about?
Fair enough. Um, yep. And a bunch of people in my warehouse were the type that would just kind of like pack up a vehicle and just be like, "Yo, get in, we're going to Mutant Fest." You
Mhm.
know? And there were a couple of units in that warehouse that were just for circus. I actually moved there so I could do trapeze because there was in the unit next to me, someone was teaching trapeze with like a trapeze actually hung in the
Uh,
warehouse and things. So it was
how long did you live at the Vulcan?
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you went with 2007, you went with a friend from Vulcan, and you just did like open camping and
Yeah, so what we did was we went in Ren's vehicle, and along the way we found a billboard that had fallen off its what do you call it, frame or
Mhm.
whatever. So this gigantic piece of plastic, and so we gathered up a couple of bits because we didn't neither of us had a plan about Burning Man. So we got to Burning Man, and I think somewhere around like I forget it was like 8 and F or something like that. We set up a teepee
Uh-huh.
with this. We made a giant teepee with this billboard. That's what I did in
What where
2007.
where'd you find the billboard? I mean, did you find like in the weeks and months leading up to Burning Man, or it's like you're just
No, it was
after you
literally
got
on the
the
way to Burning
really?
Man. Yeah.
Wow.
And found out in the midst of trying to camp in this silly thing that vinyl is really uncomfortable to sleep inside at Burning Man. It's
During the day, like you
yeah,
don't.
like no ventilation vinyl structure that is like
Mm.
not particularly great. So what I ended up doing is like I had my tent. We had our tents like packed with
Okay.
us. We just decided to do this experimental thing because hey, Burning Man, right?
Okay.
Um, so we had this teepee as our like, ersatz camp structure, right? And then we camp next to it. So that
Oh, okay, okay.
and still no shade structure, no kitchen, no nothing,
Yeah.
just doing it rough and sometimes just like passing out in the middle of the day another in the big camps on
Yeah. That's I don't know. And the kids nowadays, it's like they don't know how good they have it. But yeah, I mean, for many years, I mean, I think like my first year, my brother and I, our camp was essentially just like his Volkswagen GTI with a tarp off of it, and we had like those little like low rise like beach chairs, like
Mhm.
hanging out under this tarp, and then we just had like one little dome tent that we just kind of squeezed in, and that was it. There was some styrofoam coolers like in the trunk. And then like the
Sure.
second year, we're like, we're gonna bring a truck. And we're like, yeah. And we made this camp and
Whoa.
set up and everything.
Big
And
step.
then
Yeah.
yeah, but then I was weird because like went for like many years and we never put one thought into like, oh yeah, we should have like a kitchen
Yeah.
and we should have like, where the place where we sleep.
Yeah. Communal shade structure? What's that?
Structure.
Oh, I
Uh,
remember it's called Poly Paradise. That was the name of the place that had the human car wash. Poly Paradise.
oh, Poly Paradise. Okay,
I knew
yeah.
it would just pop into my head.
Uh-huh. But that was just for that one year, right? 2006.
Correct.
So then you said you went to Death Guild Thunderdome, and then you met.
I didn't camp. I never camped there. I'm just trying to piece together like why did I come back? What made it fun?
Yeah, why did you come
Like
back?
how did I find my way through all this? There was a year where I was so I'm a singer and I was thinking, oh, Thunderdome. And the next year I came back, I wanted to do something. And I found a guy with a karaoke cart and I asked him if he had We Don't Need Another Hero by Tina Turner. And he had.
Oh
Uh,
wow!
and so we carted our way over to the Thunderdome and I was singing We Don't Need Another Hero. And they're
How did
like,
that go over?
it was fantastic. They were like,
Really?
you should come back at a specific time. And I came back later and on my en route to going back later, I stopped by, oh, there was a whiteout. Right. Okay, so this is 2008 that this all happens. It's starting to like flood back into my
Oh,
head.
2008. Okay.
Yeah. And so I think it's like 7 or 8 p.m. or something like that, that Marissa, who runs Thunderdome, is like,
Yeah.
you need to come back. Marissa's a friend, turns out to be a friend of my father, by the way, from the opera
Oh,
scene.
really?
Yeah, just, one of those random things.
Yeah. No, she actually was. What is it? Episode 28,
Mhm.
27. Yeah, she was just on the show. Well,
She's super cool.
oh yeah,
And
she's awesome.
so she's the one who tells me to come back at a certain time. And I don't remember what day it is, but I think it's getting on to, I don't know, like 7:30 or 8 p.m. or something like that. Sun is low in the sky, and I'm leaving my tent to go do this thing, and I just look like, I don't know, just like a plaified human being, but I stop. Oh, there's a whiteout. This whiteout happens en route to the thing, and I duck into a place that looks like a gypsy caravan, like like a stereotypical kind of gypsy caravan kind of place, just like take shelter from what's going on.
Hmm.
And when this woman is like, "You seem like you're on your way to something," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I tell her what I'm about to do, and she's like, "Oh, we can make you look better than that," and she like takes out a wig and puts this like, well, actually, what is it? It's not quite a wig, but it's like a big old tangle of magnetic cassette tape that we can make look
Oh,
like a wig. Okay. And she puts that on my head. She's like, yeah, I think we can do something here.
wow.
And then like, adds like another costume piece or something like that. So I walk out of there, like the whiteout starts to recede, like just on time, right? And I'm actually not so far from Thunderdome, and I'm like striding through, and I've got this like long flowing mane of magnetic tape coming off my head. And I feel very Mad Maxy at that point, and I kind
Hmm.
of stride up there, the karaoke guy's in place, and it turns out they're like opening the battles for today, and they like have me walk in. There's somebody videotaped this. I still have it. It's a terrible phone recording from 2008.
Hmm.
But I got to open Thunderdome proceedings one night by singing "We Don't Need Another Hero," dressed insane. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that was 2008. I don't even remember what else happened that year. That was the thing that happened that year.
Wow. And so it's 2008. So have you been going like all these years?
No, I left the Vulcan because I got pregnant and moved in with the father of my child.
Hmm.
And that was 2010. Yeah, that was all of 2010. So my
Oh,
son was born in 2010.
okay.
And simultaneously in 2009 to 2010, I started actually finding community in a way that I hadn't really found before. I mean, I was fairly new to the Bay Area, but also I was new to the concept of like finding your people and actually like go like having a clubhouse, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. And we all take out the trash together and those sorts of like community activities. So the thing that happened to me is that I found Noisebridge, which is a hackerspace in the Mission, and that was in 2009. And I also joined up with Pirate Cat Radio. That was also 2009. A lot happened that year.
Mm.
Um,
Pirate Cat Radio?
hmm Pirate Cat Radio was a pirate radio station operating on 87.9 FM at that time, operated by this guy named Monkey out of Los Angeles.
Hmm.
He was, and still is, I suppose, somewhat legendary. I think he is now fucked off to Berlin. Uh, but anyway, he kind of had this sort of, I don't know, cult of Pirate Cat around him. I don't know how much we want to go into it, but that was like I was part of something. I
Mm-hmm.
found the concept of being part of something. And so for a few years in a row, especially while I was raising my young son and things like that, I I grew this attachment to Noisebridge and to like pirate radio and being a homegrown San Franciscan by that point.
Oh, okay. And is a Noise Bridge and Pirate Cat Radio, is any like affiliation with Burning Man, or is it just kind of similar
No, I'm kind of
dreams?
there's crossover. There's
Uh,
people who from Noisebridge go to Burning Man. There's it's just in that sort of like endless continuum of like artists, freaks, hackers, and
mhm.
makers, and the sorts of people who aren't content to just go to a bar and have a job and try to just do the normal stuff in life.
Yeah, yeah. Work hard, play hard. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mentioned that because you're like, well, did you keep on going to Burning Man? I'm like, well, I sort of started growing in my connection to this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back in 2014 or 15. 2015. I think that feels right.
Okay.
And the reason I did is because I became partnered with a guy who was accustomed to going Burning Man and who was accustomed to going also to Firefly over in,
Vermont.
is it in Vermont? I
Yeah.
know it's a
It's the
thing that
Boston Regional,
Boston,
but it's in Vermont. Yeah.
is it? Okay. I've never been, obviously.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
looks cool.
Yeah.
So my partner was way into fire spinning at the time. Um, like Burning Man was, he had much more of that sense of like, oh, we'll go with a camp, um, and by then it made more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like why would you want to like, connect up with a group of people, even if you don't necessarily know all the people in that group? I don't. I'm a late bloomer. I don't know what to tell you.
But you're adventurous. Yeah. So, what did he like go to Burning Man first and then went to Firefly, or did he come from Firefly and then went to Burning Man?
No, I don't know.
Was he
I
from
don't know.
Vermont?
He's not, so I'm not still with him.
Mm-hmm.
We were together for 7 years. So we got together, I think, in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Yeah, he may have told me at some point, and I just don't remember that particular detail.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious. No, because
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in Vermont. That's where I went to college and met my wife
Hmm.
and my hopefully like my son. It's funny because you said your son's born in 2010. My son was born in 2008.
Oh yeah.
So he's actually supposed to be finishing up his college applications this week. But
Nice.
yeah,
Good luck
time
with that.
flies. Time flies. Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, so
yeah.
2015, you went back to Black Rock, and
hmm
did you went as part of a camp, or did you do the open camping thing again?
No, no, no more open camping from that point onwards because at that point I had access to the Boston network, the Boston tribe that imports itself almost out as a continuous stream out of Boston over to San Francisco. A lot of the people who cut their teeth on Firefly, actually, I think he went to he went to Firefly before Burning Man. I think that's the answer to your question.
Okay.
So a lot of these kids are, if not MIT, like MIT adjacent schools, and they get real into making some kind of tech art or things like that. They might get into fire spinning. They might have a connection with some like small industrial community over there, and they get siphoned, almost like we used to joke about it. There's like this siphon that like brings them over to SF, and they all move together in this clump, and they get houses together, and so the Boston community stays fairly strong around here in SF. So when I got together with this particular partner of mine, I had access to this like extended network of former Bostonians.
Okay.
And then we all went together as a crew as Bring a Pheromone. That was 2015, I think. Yeah. Bring a Pheromone camp is a small camp of former Bostonites mostly who the shtick is that we're gonna smell your armpits so that we can tell, and we're gonna give you like an armpit smelling taste profile, like a wine smelling, like a wine tasting kind of profile. It got like things like musky, spicy, they built this like special contraption where like you hold your arm out like this, so you're behind this wall, you put your arm through a hole, so there's kind of like a armpit smelling glory hole thing going on, and so people can come along and like smell and rate armpits and then just be on their merry way. So then you get this like stack of papers to describe, because you don't want to pollute the findings with how you look. Right. You want a very pure characterization of your armpit smell. So that was Camp Bring a Pheromone.
Wow. Almost it's like kind of like an armpit sommelier, right? Like
yes.
Like notes.
Yeah. And then we had armpit-based dating games at certain times of the day. Yeah, just like, work? Because you can
just
like,
a smell. You're talking about
there's like three armpits. Which one do you prefer? But it's like a blind date. We're going to pair you with somebody, and you have to go on this date with the person whose smell you liked the most.
So the three candidates are behind like a wall, and there's like a hole, and then the person would have to go and smell one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And of course, it's, the middle of the day at Burning Man, so everyone's making quite a bit of, product sample.
Oh, that's actually pretty funny.
It was good. It was a popular camp. We got placed, I think, at like 8 and D for like 3 years in a row. It was a good spot. There was pancakes near us. We were pretty small. It was a good time.
Oh. Well, hopefully they had some good New England for maple syrup if they had pancakes. They're from Boston. None of this, fake stuff.
Probably fake stuff. Yep. It's funny what I remember. I remember being next to Starbucks, or really close to Starbucks. Starbucks is the dance camp. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I think it was Starbucks. I still have their sticker on something that I own. It looks like the Starbucks logo, except slightly modified. And they normally had like daylight dance parties, as I recall. Who knows? I don't know if they're still. They're still doing those, but that's what we got placed next to like 2 or 3 years in a row.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this is definitely the era. Like I missed. Let's see. I think my last was on the play in 2011, and then I went back in 24. Right? Yeah. So it was a good 13-year gap. But nothing of consequence happened in that time. Yeah.
Yep. And then the last year that I went was 2018, and actually that year we didn't go with Bring a Pheromone. We went with were they calling themselves Majorelle by that point? I can't remember. A group of artists also from Boston that do very large, often like high grant receiving metal fire, like on fire type of art, like a lot of welding, a lot of mid playa placement type of fire art.
Kind of like Flaming Lotus Girls or Iron Monkeys, kind
In that vein, yeah. Like one
of.
of them was Scriptorium. I think Scriptorium, they were doing that the year I was there. Or sorry, the year we were camped with them, which was 2018.
And are they Boston based or?
Yes. No, they're here based,
Oh,
but a
okay.
lot of them are from that area. Or some of them are actually from Oregon, now that I
Okay.
think about it.
'Cause I think Boston, isn't that? I think that's one of the places where they send some containers out, right? And so it's like a bunch
Hmm.
of people. So that, like when you said that there's just like a
There's like a pipeline.
like yeah pipeline. At first I was imagining it's like, oh yeah, it's the container, and they're all just like funneled here, but it's like I didn't even
Totally.
realize it's like they actually move out here and stay together like as a group almost.
The number of people I met at Burning Man who then ended up living in the Bay Area via Burning Man from Boston
Uh,
is like way out of proportion. There's an artist named Rich DDT, for example, Boston guy. Met him at Burning Man in, I don't know, 2016 or 17 or something like that.
mm.
And he moved from, he went to Burning Man and then just from there decided to move to San Francisco and like never went back.
Yeah,
And that's not the only time I've met somebody who had done that.
it's
Because
a
I
kind
think
of common
that,
story. I think yeah.
yeah, because I think that a lot of these people know so many people already who've landed here by the same route. It's like, well, I'm
Mhm.
not starting over. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny because like years ago, almost everybody who went to Burning Man came from San Francisco or like Reno or just it's kind of like local area. And then as time went by, like more people from now you go out to the playa. I mean it's amazing. You hear just like all these different languages. These people from like all over the world, and
That's
it's like
awesome. That's really fun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what people ask me. It's like, how has Burning Man changed? I'm just like, it's like, I mean, it's not a I'm dating myself, but it's not a Benetton ad. It's not like,
I know what you're talking about.
but yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You just meet people from like everywhere and just all kinds of languages and all sorts of influences.
That's cool.
I mean, back then it's like you would have a bunch of essentially like white people from San Francisco who would like dress up in like, saris and and like whatever because like I think they wanted to have like some more culture, it's like not more than just
Yeah.
you know mayonnaise.
No, the funny
But
thing
now
is
there
that
actually really is.
so sideline from the Burning Man topic into a topic that I love and enjoy, which is like, there's a lot of people who identify with their Irish ancestry or Italian ancestry or whatever, and
Mhm.
there's so much people can draw from.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just wish I had something like all these other cultures feel so like, feel so much more interesting or so much more spiritual or whatever. And it's like, just look at your own ancestors. They were probably doing something that you might respect.
Well, what do these people
My
think their
plug.
culture is? They're just like, well, I'm just an American. Yeah.
Quote, just an American. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? It's when you say American culture, it's really difficult to
I
know.
know. I mean, if you look at the news, everyone's like, America means, red, white, blue, and corn dogs and
Yeah,
NASCAR.
we do
And,
enough of that at Burning Man. We did
yeah.
there's certainly that. We've got that represented.
Oh, yeah.
But we're also a nation of immigrants
Oh,
and a
exactly.
nation of
So
we're a
tell
nation,
me your story. So you said you're Irish. I remember because you just recently went to Ireland. Was it your
yeah.
grandmother? Like, tell me like her story.
Okay, so my grandmother was born in Creeslough in the northwest part of Ireland in Donegal.
Hmm.
Um, the what should I'm trying to figure out what's the size of story to tell you here. About a month ago is when I went to Ireland. And the reason why I was going there is to give a little opening speech for the dedication of a data center in Letterkenny.
Hmm.
Letterkenny is like a small town in the middle of Donegal. Um, and there's a Letterkenny data center, like what is it, Atlantic Technical University. And the reason they're dedicating a data center to her is because in World War II, my grandmother was a mathematician. She had just graduated, and they were looking for women to help calculate ballistic tables for World War II, This was several years before the end of the war. She got recruited into this spot because able-bodied men, including, men who'd gotten a degree in something fancy, also had to go to the front lines or do
Mhm.
something a little bit more physical. So they opened that up to women. They're like, let's give them a shot. And the crazier thing was that at the time, I don't know if you know anything about the history of computing, but there were several different efforts going on around the world, one of them being in Philadelphia, which is where my grandmother was, to build the first electronic computer that was able to calculate things without human intervention, or at least without a human sitting there manually calculating the thing. I mean, it turned out
Mhm.
that you needed a lot of manual intervention, so much so that they ended up recruiting those ladies that they had hired. Their job title was computer, by the way. So my grandmother literally her job was computer. She was a computer in World War II. They hired
Like the era of
her.
like the punch cards and like the
We're not
vacuum
there yet.
cleaners. Oh, even
We're not.
before that.
Oh,
Wow.
well before that. We're
Wow.
talking in a time when the word programming had no real meaning.
Hmm.
Like, so a person was a computer. So they were trying to build an electronic computer to replace human computers, right?
Hmm.
So in Philadelphia, the guy who would become my grandfather, he and a partner started working on a prototype in the Moore School attached to University of Pennsylvania. Uh, and meanwhile, these ladies they were pulled aside for a special, super secret. They weren't allowed to talk about it to anybody type of project. Uh, and they handed them wiring diagrams of this thing. They weren't allowed to meet the inventors. They weren't allowed to know what it was. They were like, this thing calculates numbers, figure out how it does that.
Hmm.
Uh, yep. And
Wow.
so it was the job of these six women, in which now you can read about in multiple books. The best one is called Proving Ground by Kathy Kleiman. It's the one I would most recommend. But these six women had to basically figure out how to program the first electronic computer without looking at it ever. Well, they got to look at it later, but they had to work it out just from wiring diagrams. Yeah.
How do you spell Kathy Kleiman?
Uh, Kathy with a K, and
Mhm.
then Kleiman is Kleiman. I have it on my shelf somewhere, but I think that's right.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there? I don't think I saw this movie, but there was a movie a couple years ago. Was it Hidden Figures?
Yep.
Is that similar
It's
sort of
about,
thing?
it's a kind of yeah, there's a similar theme going on there of
Hmm.
like rediscovering the history of doing science in the world and being like, oh yeah, women were there too. And
Hmm.
not wait a second, not only were women there, but they did something groundbreaking, and then we just sort of like swept it under the rug because that's too embarrassing for the men's and their feelings, I
So they were
guess.
just
I
like
don't know.
helped like make these machines and do all the calculations, and then like, okay, thank you very much, and then they just kind of took it and ran with it.
It's so funny because my grandmother, it was in the late 90s when things like the like Women in Technology International and the a bunch of other groups like the IEEE, IBM came to visit my grandmother. I was actually living with her at the time. Um, like a proper Irish Catholic family. I'm the oldest of five kids, and it just got too busy, so I ended up like living with my grandmother who was just down the road. And I remember them coming to interview her, and they were like, what made it so that you wanted to like major in mathematics? Like what drove you to do that? And she's like, I don't know, it just felt fun to solve puzzles. And they're like, how do we get more women and girls into STEM? And she's like, I don't know. Like that's just something that I wanted to do at the time. And people find that I remember people finding that like really unsatisfying, you know? But she never thought that it was particularly out of sorts to not credit her,
Hmm.
both because of the culture and because of her feelings that she was just strange. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so a lot of this just like didn't come to light until after my grandfather had died in 1979.
Ah. So how did they
Yeah.
find her to become a computer like in the begin with? I mean, is that she was like, oh well, she applied to school, or was it just that like, oh here's I don't know what her name is, but
Okay. Kay
Kay, like,
McNulty.
oh, Kay, oh yeah, you should talk to her. She loves puzzles, so she gets some
No,
time.
no, 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 no. So sure, her father, who by the way was an Irish revolutionary, he fought in the IRA,
Hmm.
in 1918, 1916 to 1919 or something like that. Went to jail, was imprisoned by the British, things like that. They had to evacuate Ireland because it just wasn't safe.
Hmm.
Very, with their like little family. Like my grandmother had just been born and he got arrested. Anyway, so my great grandfather encouraged her to study whatever she wanted. He was really big on just education in general.
Uh-huh.
And my grandmother was just real into math. And by the time she had finished her degree, like the war effort was on, there were job postings. And the job postings were just like, we're hiring women to do math. And my grandmother's like, great, I'm a woman who does math. Like, it was just this weird, like, there she was. And so I think that's part of the thing. Like, when I heard my grandmother talk about like how she found herself in this spot where she was doing something groundbreaking, she's just like, I don't know. I just loved solving. I took every math they had. I took every single one and I just loved it. I just loved solving the puzzles.
But it was also amazing, just kind of like the time and the place. I mean, she just happened to, like, if it was 10 years before or after or something, it's like maybe she wouldn't have had that opportunity, or
Exactly.
it was
And
like,
that's actually
oh.
exactly what I ended up saying when I went to Letterkenny a month ago. Like their thing in Letterkenny is they wanted to emphasize like we're creating a not just a data center but a maker space. We're
Mhm.
encouraging people from all over the world to come here and play with our stuff. Like it's not just for students in Letterkenny. We want people to come here and experiment. And so I was like, aha, great, because what's missing from the lives of so many people is just the opportunity to like mess with things, just like
Mhm.
play around and like explore into your own capabilities. So my grandmother, what I said in that speech was my grandmother was certainly she was remarkable for just being a woman who was driven to learn math, and certainly remarkable for being a the daughter of a man who just had a rebellious enough attitude that he's like, live your life, learn math, child.
Mhm.
Like doesn't matter that you're a girl, right? Remarkable in
Yeah.
that sense, but also not remarkable in the sense of like, you know, if we made opportunities for people on a more equal playing field, like it could have been someone else in that spot. It was just a very strange bottleneck of a thing where my grandmother was able to do a thing that they weren't even allowing women to do like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah. I mean, just imagine if it was 20 years before that and if her father was like a priest.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know, priest,
Well, if he was a Catholic priest, he wouldn't be.
yeah, it wouldn't he be acknowledge that? Yeah, that was your kid. Yeah.
No,
But I don't know. It'd be the
technically, he wouldn't be having children. We'll just leave it at that.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
what I
mean,
was
I'm sure
really
it
trying
did
to say.
happen, but then it would just like the mom would be sent off to one of those schools for wayward girls or
Ah,
something.
yes, the Magdalene laundries.
Yes, that's what they call it.
Yep.
Wow. So, how long did your grandmother live for? Like, was she around like when you were like going to Burning Man? Did you ever think it's like you're adventurous, like you should come
Oh
out to the
gosh.
playa?
No, she died like the year I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area. She died in 2005.
Okay.
So it was like just prior to my, I think even then she kind of just would have went like, huh? That would have been kind of it.
Wow.
Yep.
So, so where did you grow up?
I grew up in Philadelphia, which is
Oh,
where
okay.
my grandmother's family landed when they came over from Ireland.
So your grandmother was born in Ireland, and then they fled to the States or
Pretty
something
much, yeah.
because of the rebelliousness or whatever. Well, like when did they when did they come to the States?
What, when?
Yeah.
There's it's on Wikipedia. Uh, James McAnulty, Irish activist, is the Wikipedia page for my great grandfather. Um, it would have been like 1918 or 1919.
Oh, okay. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my dad's mother and father came from Italy, and like I think it was like the 20s or something like that. I remember like seeing yeah, it was like the Ellis Island like paperwork and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah. But
Mm.
my great grandfather had connections already because he had already been coming to the United States to work as a stonemason. In fact, he worked for Grace Kelly's father,
Oh wow.
of all things. Yeah. So he was like a family friend of the Kellys.
Did he ever go back, or did the family ever
He
like?
went back and forth,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, I'm cutting the story short slightly to talk about the family motivations for coming to America. I don't know what you know about Irish history and like the post-revolutionary years, but you know how like there's Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
There, so that's not really what Ireland wanted. I don't know if you know.
No, they wanted
Northern
independence, but
Ireland was
England.
created as a compromise
Hmm.
to stop the war, and that compromise, that treaty with Britain became a source of contention and created a civil war in Ireland. And so it's very easy to, you know, if you talk to somebody in Ireland about the history of their family, and you'll say something like, "Oh yeah, my grandfather was, sorry, my great grandfather was anti-treaty," and people go, "Oh, okay," because it became very uncomfortable to still want to fight for the fate of the rest of the counties of Ireland post treaty, because what that really meant was just more internecine violence,
Hmm.
seemingly endless.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it was not, I mean, my great grandfather was put in jail in Derry. When he came out, the treaty had not yet been signed, I think. I might be mixing up the history of things, but he came out, there was relative peace. Something good was about to happen. And then the treaty came and he thought that was a disaster and he got disillusioned and he's like, oh well.
Decided to take his family to America and find his fortunes here, or
Well, the decision, as I mentioned earlier, the decision was based on there's just a it's really, you know what, it's this is really hard to pick apart. It was the
yeah.
combination of not feeling safe and then the disillusionment. Let's just,
Hmm.
I feel like we're going,
Sure, sure, sure. No,
it's like
no,
too.
but no, it's just interesting backstory for you. But so, yeah, so you grew up in Philadelphia and then moved out to San Francisco 2005, and then hit the Playa 2006, and all these years. So you said the last time you went to Burning Man is what, 2018 or so?
Yeah, that was my last year there. Because overlapping for me in this time where I'm going back to Burning Man is I'm also discovering street theater and immersive theater.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard of the like sort of immersive theater movements that have come out. So the touchstone points that most people know about would be like Sleep No More in New York City.
Hmm.
No, okay. And then the other
No.
one is Meow Wolf. Maybe you've heard of Meow
Oh,
Wolf.
Meow Wolf. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if they would call themselves exactly like immersive theater, but it's like immersive world or something. I don't know what they call themselves. But these movements are all coming out like kind of simultaneously. There's also this uh, growing scene in the early 2010s of alternate reality games, I guess let's call them, of like you see a flyer around San Francisco and it says something completely weird and it has a number on it. You call up the number and it's like, oh, this is a live line. No, it's not just a joke flyer. There's like something really there.
yeah.
Um, so that's the start of a couple things called like the Jejun Institute
Oh, I've heard of
is
that.
happening around that time.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly earlier. I think we're actually 2008. It kind of starts happening, but that evolves into something called the Latitude Society. It's a lot of those same people. The Latitude
Mhm.
Society is like a more secret society that unfortunately had a very ended up being very culty. People have written very like Lydia Lawrenson has written a lot about what happened with the Latitude Society. It's an interesting touch point in the history of all this stuff. And then I start wanting to get involved with my partner at the time, who is just he and we together we have an alchemy. We start going to parties dressed as like like with like plague doctor masks on, holding gigantic
Mm-hmm.
lanterns and not saying anything. Uh, like we showed up at a sex party like that one time, and that was really fun. Just, hey, just like hanging there in the corner of the room. It was great.
Awesome.
So we start doing that kind of crap, and then we start doing that a little bit at Burning Man, but then we got more and more involved in these like somewhat small, but like certainly growing over time, secret, like semi-secret in network invitation only type of events, um, which they are. So one of their rules is that you don't talk about them on social media. Like you don't share their like photos on anything,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and so we did that and like submitted art projects and did grants and things like that for that group of people for like 10 straight years.
Oh, wow.
And
Are they
they
still
took
doing
a lot of, oh yeah, very much growing strong. Oh yeah. Um, I and I would say a lot of the inspiration for those parties comes out of Burning Man. It comes out of that psychedelic scene. Give me a second.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Take your time. Yeah, well, while you're having a sip of water, I just, I think, was it Caveat Magister's book? Was it the
Turn your life into art, or the scene
Green Light?
became cities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I remember he was described, because when you mentioned it with the Jejune Society,
Yes.
like
Yeah, he would have mentioned that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the Latitude Society, I was just like, wow, wait a minute. Like, I've heard it. I was like, where did I hear about this from before?
Yep. Yeah, we're talking about that whole scene. So very much
Ah,
out of the Cacophony Society, Merry Pranksters,
yeah.
which itself arises from the Surrealists and the Situationists,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's like that sort of art lineage.
Yeah. Is Cacophony like still active in San Francisco?
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
Only because like I can name you, and I'm not going to do it in a recorded format, but I can name
Yeah.
you several people who are still involved with things like creating underground events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I have to stop there, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, 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 no. That's, yeah.
But yeah, those people are still around, and there's new people coming into the scene who've like just moved here or just discovered this kind of stuff, range of ages who, um, I think that's one of the most inspiring things. I
Mm-hmm.
think about the this interplay between things that are either Burning Man or Burning Man adjacent and
Mm-hmm.
things that are much more small scale. I wouldn't even say they're festival. They're more like secret underground,
Happenings. Right.
happenings. Yes, that's a really good word.
Yeah.
Underground happenings. And there's range in between those things. And it's a wide range of ages and different backgrounds. I mean, certainly artists, certainly
Yeah.
disillusioned Silicon Valley tech people, but also like writers like Caveat and people from traditional theater, people who've done belly dancing for all their lives. Just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, still a
Yeah.
very, very vibrant art scene here, even if it doesn't totally always look like it on the face of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I lived in San Francisco in like 94 to 2001. I remember like we did a number of events, things like there's happenings like that. Like what, or one of them was it's like a treasure hunt kind of thing. And so you like
Hmm.
you show up at like a warehouse, and then there's all these crazy rules, and you get like a certain amount of like points for doing all these different things. I think it was my birthday, so like my but then girlfriend, now wife, was just like, let's do this thing with a couple other friends. So it's like you had to have like a designated driver, designated drunk. Like
Yeah,
this was my birthday. I was a designated drunk.
but
Uh,
good.
then it's like, yeah, I had to be handcuffed to somebody the entire time. And then it's like, there's a number of bars that you could go to. And then if you get like a drink at each one, that's like, yeah, that's a point for, and then there's like all of these different places, like Palace of Fine Arts, like you would
Mm.
have to do a
Hmm.
scene from like Rocky Horror Picture Show or something. And
Sure.
then yeah, and then it's like at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, they have this big laundry list of like all these different places and all these crazy things. And then at the end of the day, it's like you have to go to like Treasure Island, and then you look at the back of the sign, and then from there it takes you to like this place in Oakland, and from there, and like, and then eventually you wind up at some like warehouse in like Oakland or Alameda or something like that. And I just remember like we'd spent the whole day, and I was like really drunk because I'd been going to all these bars. I was a designated drunk. I was like, I've done my job, like. And I remember they were just like the very first place that we went. This place called the House of O, and we were just like, I don't know, whatever, the House of O, but like it was the house of like orgasms. Like, so I mean, the whole
Sure.
thing was like there was this one woman who, and she was like, well, um like out of the four of you, you could have either one or all four of you, whatever. But it's like you bring yourself to orgasm, and I will rate you like out of like 1 to 10 or whatever. And we were the first ones there, and I remember like she was like just like dropping acid like right as we were like halfway, and so and my two friends were like, yeah, me and my girlfriend were like, I don't know, but like our two friends were like, yeah, no, we'll do it. And so they went to like a room, and then came out 10 minutes later, and she was just like, wow, okay, like, and so she gave us like a 10, and we're just like, okay, awesome. And then I remember she goes and she drops acid, and we're just like, woohoo, this game's easy. So then smash cut to the end of the day, where it's like we go there and we're submitting it, and they were just like, wait a minute, this isn't real, this isn't right. And we're just like, no. They're like, you cheated. We're like, no, what do you, no, these are legitimate every place we went. And they're like, no, 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 this one, House of O, you got a 10. No way, no way, there's no way you guys got a 10. We're
Is
like,
this an act? Like now I'm
like,
suspecting. Like, did they give everyone a 10 and then
well,
question
no,
their
apparently we were the
authenticity?
first ones there, and like right when we got there she dropped acid, so every single person that came after that, I
Was
think
a
she was,
disappointment.
yeah. Or maybe she was just so high, she was just like, "Ah, yeah, whatever, I'll give you a one." It's like, because they were just like, she was like, oh, she only gave like ones and twos to people. It's like she never get like a 10. That's impossible. That's utterly impossible. It's like, it's funny because I think we would have actually won the competition. Like, but we're like, no, but like,
You set the standard.
yeah, yeah. Well, my friends, they really, but wow. Okay, so yeah. So what's it all mean to you, this whole Burning Man thing? Like, how has this
Mm.
impacted your life? I mean, if you, well, I'm not going to say if you hadn't gone, but because you did go, like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
how has it impacted or influenced your life?
It's really, I mean, it's interesting because it is such a fixture in my consciousness even when I'm not going. It
Mm-hmm.
is it is one of those especially living in San Francisco, one of those guideposts by which you either agree with something or want to avoid something.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, there's like an aesthetic watermark that is like, that sounds like Burning Man, and you either want more of that or you don't want more of that. But like, there's never not a comparison to Burning Man in people's minds when they encounter outsider art in
Mm-hmm.
particular.
Mm-hmm.
And um, since a lot of what I do as an artist is mostly outsider art, like strange, fringy kind of stuff. For a couple of years, I had a tentacle pope character.
What?
Um, I made a pope hat that with like tentacles on it, and like covered myself in
Oh,
tentacles,
okay.
and and
Okay.
I made a whole character out of it. It was actually inspired by reading the book of the Subgenius again. From like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I still have like this really beat up copy of it, and so, and I was still finding my way. I hadn't taken any improv classes at that point, and I was like, I know that I can make myself like look weird, and I know that I can like show up and fully embody this thing, but I'm like not good at coming up with things to say on the spot necessarily. So basically, I like covered this book in like the book of the subgenius in like this ornateness that looked like a gigantic like very ritualistic space bible, and then I would read like walk into a room in one of these like underground art party type settings. I had two minions with me. They would like lay down a carpet like that looked like money, just like this it like this flappy cart that looked like bits of money, okay?
Uh-huh.
Especially if people are really, really high.
Uh-huh.
And then like lay down and start like flogging themselves. And then I would just open the book and read from the book of Subgenius, close it up, like, and then like walk out of the room without saying anything. So people thought it was great.
What kind
What
of
does it have to do
parties are
with
you talking about? Like, I mean, these
what
just
was that?
like what kind of parties are happening?
Oh, it's like what I was saying earlier about like immersive art
Oh,
that
okay.
bears some lineage out of like combination of like psychedelic scene,
Okay.
Cacophony Society, Burning Man for sure.
So
This is
was
my
it like
answer to
some
like what does Burning Man mean to you? It's like it's kind of suffused in this culture where
oh
I
yeah.
live. Um, and that sense of the embrace of serendipity, I would say,
Hmm.
which is something that I found very comfortable when I went there for the first time.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've always found serendipity to be one of the most easy and free ways of living my life, which is why I go around like with almost no fear. Like, I went to Ireland a month ago with a loose plan, but I took it day by day. I didn't know where
Mhm.
I was going to sleep. I had a blast. There was like not an empty moment in my in my 10 days there. I climbed a mountain, all sorts of things. But I that was the first thing that struck me about Burning Man is how my intuition carried me uh,
Mhm.
in this strange, like, non-normal-ish place where I started to feel more normal. Like, because there are so many other people who are embracing serendipity, who are embracing their more intuitive selves at Burning Man.
Was this not like a prominent part of your life before that?
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's how Burning Man changed my life per
No,
se.
I'm just saying, like before you even moved to San Francisco, like in Philadelphia, it's like was a serendipity, like it was a part. I mean, part of your
Yeah,
life
I
as
didn't
much then.
know that that was something that was different about me.
Uh-huh.
So, um, well, no, that's not true. So, I think I've always known that I don't quite fit into the normal expectations that most people live their lives by
Hmm.
and have never wanted to embrace any of them. But that's about as far as I got in my understanding of my relationship to the world into my mid 20s.
Hmm.
Going to Burning Man kind of showed me like, oh, like actually there are places and settings and those are important to like helping sides of people come out,
Yeah.
right? In a way that like when you notice that you are more comfortable in a place that you didn't expect to be comfortable, it
Hmm.
helps you learn something about yourself.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's expressly a place where you can free to express you like however you are. I mean, it's it's a home for freaks
Yeah,
like us, like,
right.
yeah, you be accepted. It's just like, wow, I didn't realize it could be like this. Like,
Right. And then on top of that, just like I've always been a novelty seeker. Like I'm stimulated by newness in general. So
mhm.
the ability to just walk all over the place. That's why I like was not lonely or sad or bored at Burning Man my first year, even though I was like basically just traversing the thing completely alone.
Mhm.
Um, because there was just so much to absorb and so many different things to know, so many new patterns to get and things like that. I didn't take drugs for the first 2 to 3 years that I was there. Yeah.
It's one of the places I always tell people that like you can be completely sober and you'll feel like you're tripping. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I mean, this year went back with my brother and uh we spent a lot of years drinking and doing drugs. And this is like the first year we went back where it was just completely 100%, well, 98% sober, you know, and what an amazing time we had. What an amazing like difference it was. Yeah.
It was
But
really only the mid 2010s for me with that new partner of mine who
mhm,
was kind of like helping me explore into different things that I'd never really had access to before, where
yeah.
like we really got into the psychedelic aspect. Like
Mhm.
today's mushroom day, today is LSD day, you know what I mean? And like really, really going hard on it.
Yeah.
And that was really, really interesting. And then that taught me the lessons that I needed to learn from those experiences. And I feel like I absorbed that. I don't need that as much now.
Exactly. I can't remember who it was, but a friend of mine, I don't know, this quote always stays with me. I'm trying to remember. It's repeated revelation ceases to satisfy.
Yep. Yeah.
you know?
No,
So
and that's ultimately like why when I think about Burning Man, I don't feel as drawn, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna need a little bit more to like pull me back to the next one if I ever,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Because right now there's several things that are going on with like underground art scene, right? Like, right in my own backyard, more or
Hmm.
less, that are like really interesting and compelling. I think my draw, as I realized from the like improv things that I wanted to do, those sort of like weird art interludes that I keep referring to, where I just kind of
Hmm.
want to drop in and just, you know, do something either site specific or disruptive
Yeah. Yeah.
with myself and maybe a small crew. Those don't quite work as well as at Burning Man. And we found that out by experience. I'll just the type of things this is really hard to like because I can't give you like cogent points, right? So maybe
Mhm.
I'll just say the style of thing that I and my partner, my former partner, wanted to do didn't feel as possible in Burning Man in an environment where there's just so much going on that you're constantly having to
Oh,
fight for prominence.
oh, I see what you're
Even when
saying.
people want to engage, there's going to be somebody pulling them out of it at some point, or
Yeah.
someone or
Mhm.
something pulling them out of it before you feel like you've really completed the encounter. And that's why smaller settings have felt more artistically satisfying for that type of
Mm. Maybe there's
exploration of
just,
art.
in a strange way, too much cacophony at Burning Man. Like there's just, I
You
mean,
know,
there's
it's
too much.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, we can call it too much cacophony. It's
Yeah,
funny because like
strange way of putting it.
after you go for some amount of time, I think you also start to see the patterns of that cacophony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, here come the 100,000 LED art cars, right? And then you know how that's going to change the scene. You know what affordances are given by
Mm-hmm.
these wall of LEDs, and you're like, well, there are certain things I can do here and certain things I can't. Other people are going to make that same calculation, and the people will self-sort.
Mm-hmm.
You get the same patterns over and over again.
Well, I mean, if you did go back, I mean, well, I don't know. I could see you doing more like something just like installation or something. Like one thing that my brother and I found, we like walked out to Deep Playa, and there was like this simple like little dome kind of tent thing, and there was this table and had like like eight place settings, and there was like eight chairs, and there was like six people sitting there, and we just came
Hmm.
and sat down, and everything was kind of like glued to the table, but
Sure.
it was just like it's just impromptu, just kind of like, oh, at like dinner party or, or whatever, and people, we just kind of sat down and we just kind of started talking to each other, like, I mean, yeah,
Totally.
I mean, maybe
I
not
will.
going out into the crowd of people and doing like your thing, but like having like your own thing kind of out and
Oh, totally.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I will say that deep playa experiences are the best experiences as far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned. I've always treasured, like in my memory banks, when I'm like, oh, what were like the top experiences for me? It always comes down to it's like 1 a.m. I'm at this like really nice part of my trip, if I've decided to do that,
Mhm.
right? Because I've probably dropped at sunset or something like that.
Mhm.
And like, so everything's like really super shiny, and I'm like, I'm warm, even though it's cold outside. I'm not wearing very much. And I'm biking along, and there's like some light on the horizon. I'm like, oh, speaking of light, hang on a second.
Oh,
No,
it's for the viewers there. The power just went out. Oh no, now the power's back on again.
no, no.
The
Those are
light
my
goes-
plant lights. They're just on automatic timers.
Oh, okay.
I'm in my kitchen. So there's some light we're gonna bike towards, right?
Mm.
That like we're gonna explore that thing. We don't know what's there. Like I don't ever want to look at a map. Like I don't want to know where
No.
the road is before I no, exactly. Who does that? So, like bike out and like if you hit the trash fence, you go, haha, we made it to the trash fence, and then you might bike
Yeah.
along the trash fence, look for the next light. Like those are my favorites.
Well,
Those are my favorites.
serendipity, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and
And those
also,
are the places where you're going to find people who, when they find that kind of that spot that enchants them, the circumstances of that site are such that people generally want to linger there a little bit more. It's a little
mhm.
bit quieter. They've put in a lot of physical effort to get there. They might be tired because it's the middle of the night. And those circumstances lead people to feeling as though they've really found discovered something special.
Hmm.
right?
Oh
The
yeah.
people, those other people are there at that particular point in time, right? It's not like you're on Esplanade and you're surrounded by a huge crowd of people who came there for a specific DJ, and you're like, well,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Right.
not that that's wrong, like a bad experience or whatever. Like, I've
Just
joined those crowds,
different.
but there's that like sort of ritual or ceremonial aspect to
Yeah.
finding yourself in the like the last movie theater at the end of the earth or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's not a movie you would have wanted to sit and see any other time in your life,
But
but you're
also going
there's
back
like
to
three other people with you who made it there at that point in time, and like now you're friends forever.
oh yeah, yeah. But go back to the serendipity thing. It's like it's not something you can recreate either. It was just like I'm going to come
Right.
back tomorrow at 2:30 in the morning, and they're going to have the exact
No,
same experience.
no, no,
Like
leave
no, you
it.
had
No.
this, and then go on to
Yeah.
something else, right?
Nope. It will never be the same moment in time again, and I love that.
Oh well,
But I do find that at small festivals, even if they're more densely packed, like small, like a smaller surface area, a smaller
mhm.
area in general, like you can create those sorts of like, oh wow, I really this is a very special moment in time that I can't recreate. Like I feel like those moments can be architected as
Uh-huh.
an art form a little bit better.
Yeah. Have you been to any regional events?
Um, no, I'm just realizing I haven't. I get invited to go with the crew of people that I used to make art with to unscrews, and I was like, no, I've never been to one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually making plans to because I the only regional events I think I've ever been to was the ones that we did because I started the Hawaii regional group like in 2002. I did that for like 10 years.
Hmm.
So the only ones I went to are the ones that I did. But I'm actually making plans to go to Unscrews this next year. I think it's what April 30th, May 4th,
Oh yeah, that sounds
something
about
like that.
right.
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
that time of the year.
yeah. Maybe you should come with us.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd consider it. Um, yeah, I'm getting into a different phase in terms of my being a mom and also having a source of steady income that I didn't have a couple months ago, where things feel a little bit more accessible because now
Mhm.
my kid is 15,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like I remember 2015 through 2018, like we had to arrange for him to be taken care of and all that stuff. And that was like, and now I can just sort of say like, yeah, you can just go stay with your dad and I'll
Mhm.
see you on the other side.
Well,
It's like not a
15,
big
I mean,
deal.
also like a lot more independent too, and
Yep.
nobody wants to, go out and explore. I mean, you're in the city too. I mean, even my son, when he was there in San Francisco, last time there, I think he was like 15 or no, it was earlier this year. I think he was like 17 or something. But him and his cousin, I think he was like 16. They were just having the time of their lives. They were just like, we're going to take a bus and we're going to go down here and we're going to go explore. We're going to go to Amoeba Records and
Oh my gosh.
like, yeah.
My son is he's a curious kind of guy. Like he has no problem doing that sort of thing. Like
Hmm.
he's got that sort of like, yeah, of course I can just take a bus across town, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't feel like it.
Uh,
He'll do it to get from mom's house to dad's house and back again. He has to go all the way across town. Fortunately, we both live in
yeah.
SM. But like kids these days, man, they just want to sit online with their Discord friends and
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, I think it's because my son, I mean, I live like kind of like out in the country in Hawaii. And so, like, being in the city to him is just like, wow, this is great. I get to take a bus and then go on a subway. And
oh,
like,
I see. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
that's
I mean,
different.
for many
Yeah.
years, even just going in an elevator, because like there's only, I think, the North Shore here, one elevator that goes one floor. So
Okay.
I'd be like, let's go to the big city and ride an elevator up. And it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, to be fair, I remember visiting my grandmother when she had her beach house in Florida, and
uh-huh.
the beach house had an elevator that was very, very high in Palm Beach, Florida, and that was that was fun.
Oh, those glass
So
ones on the
I remember.
outside. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we're coming up on the hour 15. This has been a great interview.
Did you want to talk about the article at all?
Oh, yeah.
Not that we have to. I'm just curious because that's the way we started talking in the first
Oh,
place.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Wait, what article was this again? Is this the?
The one that I wrote on Substack.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, a supposedly fun bureaucracy I'll never line up for again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
It's
you
okay if you
called
don't
out.
actually.
Well,
It's
no, I
fine.
try to like remember like yeah, it was I just remember you like you called out Caveat Magister as the was it Schrodinger's spokesman?
Schrodinger's philosopher, which yeah,
The
I didn't I
simultaneously on the
wasn't
inside and on the outside. Like I
well,
love that. That's great.
it's yeah. So we don't have to go into it if this is like not a thing that you want to.
Oh, whatever you want.
Um, no, it's just yeah. I don't know. Let's see. So what do I want to say? I think it's important to state that Caveat and I are actually really good friends.
Oh
Like
yeah.
we actually just had an event 2 weeks ago where we were doing this artist summit that we've been doing since 2017.
Yeah.
And so it was actually Caveat who asked me to submit an article to Burning Man Journal in response to how he was perceiving the conversation around his articles about Burning Man bureaucracy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then I realized that there are lots of deeper layers to kind of explore in this thing. And
Hmm.
I asked him if it was okay. And he's like,
Hmm.
oh no, this is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't read as though I'm like really, really calling him out, but it's more along the lines of like the position that he's in is actually quite regrettable for him, and he
Hmm.
knows it. Um, the his philosopher in residence role, which he was given by Larry Harvey, was it like a decade ago,
Yeah.
to sort of carry the torch of like what does it mean to Burning Man, like the
Hmm.
10 principles and how do those fillet out into actionable like practicable, here's how we do this culture,
Hmm.
what does this vision mean kind of thing, was put in Benjamin's hands or Caveat's hands, to some degree. There are other people involved in the philosophical center.
Hmm. Astute
Um,
man.
so, Caveat still writes articles for the Burning Man Journal, and he's listed in his byline as a founding member of the Philosophical Center,
Hmm.
but he has no official role within Burning Man at this point.
Yeah.
So, so when he writes articles about how Burning Man should be, or how the culture should be, or what does this mean, he's perceived as being both like like a puppet of the Burning Man org,
Hmm. Hmm.
but also the Burning Man org doesn't really listen to him.
Yeah.
Like it's becoming a little bit tenuous where he's like having to fight for certain articles to be published.
I'm
So
not
that's what I meant by that.
sure they're even really publishing his articles at this point.
Yeah, it's looking
It's
kind
not
of
that,
weird.
I mean, I don't know. But it's just my interpretation or understanding is that like I don't think that it's that they don't want to publish his article. Or, like I'm just not sure he wants to even submit them to him. Like, because what he told me was that like one of the one of his caveats
Of
for taking on the role was that he would have a free voice to say whatever he wanted. And they were like, of course, but then I think
course.
as years went by,
Mhm.
that started to change. And then I think that's why he's kind of bowed out because that freedom he had to express himself, or to at least the things that they were going to publish in their journal. Yeah, I think they were starting to be like, no, we don't want this.
Yes. Yeah. And as I wrote in my article, as soon as the philosophical center is under editorial control of the marketing department,
Hmm.
you have a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's kind of where things I think
Which is
are.
why I gotta say I really loved your article.
Mm.
I mean, no, because it's like it's your unvarnished opinion.
That's all I got,
Um,
man.
yeah, but it's so rare, nowadays. I mean, especially like in the Burning Man world. For many years, like in the regional network, I was very active, and uh, we have an email list called like the regional list,
Hmm.
and I was always like kind of a fixture there. I mean, like I said, like in 20 from 2012 to 2020, 20 or so, or like I basically just kind of was off. I just kind of I just the whole Burning Man world. I was just like, I have to raise my son, I just
Yeah,
completely left it behind.
that's
But
its own
then
trip.
yeah, but like I remember when I came back, I mean, like what was used to be this place where the regionalist list where people could feel free to express themselves and to say like whatever. I mean, like speaking truth to power, it's like it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. I mean, that had changed, and
Interesting.
yeah, and so I was always like you, like I was always one of those people who are just like, I don't give a fuck. It's like I'm gonna say what I think, and people are just like, well, that's rude, or like,
Oh,
or
yeah.
it's just like I don't like this, and I was just like, well, those are the facts, and I try not, I try not to be like insulting, but at the same time, it's just like I want to be kind of like lay things out. It's like this is the reality, like as I see it, and it's kind of like the emperor is wearing no clothes. You know?
You're inspiring me to go back and pick up a draft of an article that I need to write on my Substack. I've put it on hold because I needed to get a job, and I did. But I had to go through interview processes to get that job, and now I'm settling into that job. But
Yeah.
the article I need to write is actually about well, it's actually about Pandora, the goddess, and how this story is misunderstood. She's basically the scapegoat for all the world's evils. But what I want to write is that she's the original, like, pointer outer of suffering in the world,
Ah.
and she gets blamed for causing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Because it's ridiculous to say that there wasn't suffering before Pandora opened a box. Because by then, we'd already chained Prometheus to a rock and ate his liver every day by an eagle.
Mhm,
Like, that's
mhm.
already happening. So don't tell me suffering didn't exist. Okay, I don't need to rant right now.
She created that. We didn't have it before she came
Devil
around.
woman.
Devil, stone her. All right. Well,
No.
all right.
Now we're long.
I think there we go. Okay. Well, thank you so much. This has been an awesome interview. I think this is actually going to be my 50th episode
Nice.
coming out in like March, I think. Something. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. The more reviews the show has, the more likely it will even appear in search results. Also, please tell a friend and share this show with anyone that you think might like it. Word of mouth reaches quite far, especially in the Burning Man community. If you would like to contact us, please send an email to shadowofthemanpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow Shadow of the Man on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X, and YouTube. The links for all of these are available at shadowoftheman.com. Feel free to use any of these social media accounts to provide any feedback you might have. Your thoughts on the show are greatly appreciated. Thank you, and see you soon for a new episode of The Shadow of the Man.
Thank you for listening to this latest show. We have to make another one, so gotta go. Don't worry, for next month we already have one in the can. Very soon you'll be listening to a new Shadow of the Man.